So today I present to you Red Resonators. Red Resonators is a synchro heavy base deck which focus on your Red Supernova Dragon. The deck is extremely strong when it go first and also can go second using your Centurion package. For the main deck, I run triple effect valor, 1 synchron resonators, 1 chain resonators, double maxi, 1 crimson resonators, double vision resonators, triple ash blossom, triple soul resonators, 1 obsessive overlook, 1 triple bone archfiend, the Centurion package which is your Primera, Trudea, and also your gargoyle, triple stand up Centurion, 1 wake up Centurion, and also 1 phalanx. I also run triple mocha with wallows, 1 earthbound prisoner stone to search for your soul resonators, and also your bestial package you run 1 magnum heart, 1 bestial serenaire, double bestial drill swarm, you can run 1 bestial baldric, triple rebellion, and so you run 1 foolish burial, triple resonator call to search for your soul resonators, you run your triple stand up Centurion for the Centurion packages, you 1 branded regain for your bestial rebellion package, 1 crimson Gaia, double crimson Gaia, also double call by the grave, 1 cross-out resonator, triple droplet, triple emblem oath, and also the wake up Centurion package, triple infinite impermanence, and also 1 red zone. For the extra deck, I run double red rising dragon, you run the 1 quill belt, 1 red dragon archfiend, 1 scarlet red dragon archfiend, 1 scar red dragon archfiend, 1 centurion primera, 1 hot red dragon archfiend, 1 baron the flow, 1 bestial dissipator, Christ angel, cosmic blazer dragon, your red supernova, your crimson dragon, and also your centurion auxilia. So the main reason you want to run your Centurion package in this Resonator deck is simply because Resonators mainly lock you into Dark Dragon Synchro or Dark Synchro monsters. For example, your Soul Resonator lock you into Dark Synchro monster. So mainly you want preferably Dark Dragon Synchro monster, since majorly most of your Resonators card lock you into Dark Dragon Synchro. So that's why you need Dark Dragon Synchro only in the extra deck. But there is a main advantage when it comes to that, because your Centurion Auxilia is a Dark Dragon Synchro. So you can make your Centurion Auxilia and then you can go into your Centurion packages and then make your Centurion combo to go during your opponent to go into your Crimson Dragon, and then you can make your Blazer Dragon or your Red Supernova Dragon. So the rest of the card is pretty self-explanatory, but one of the main reason you want to run Obsessive Overlook because it's simply searchable. You can search it using your Red Soul Resonators if you have more combo, if you already have the combo starting in your hand, or your Bone Archfiend. Obsessive Overlook is important because simply it enables your branded regain. By banishing your Red Rising Dragon, you can recycle your Red Rising Dragon, and also Obsessive Overlook enable your bestial dissipator, because if you banish any of your synchro, like for example you banish your Scarlet Dragon Archfiend, you can reborn back your monster using your Obsessive Overlook effect. So by doing that way, it can help you extend combo much more further and also help you to extend much more further. So without hesitating any time, we're gonna jump into combo one by one to help you to saw how to combo by using Resonators, and also I'm gonna show how to use Obsessive Overlook. Let's go. Okay, so first thing first, I'm gonna normal summon my Soul Resonators and then activate it. We're gonna search for our Bone Archfiend. This is a 1-card combo if you open the continuous spell, but if you don't, you need to discard a card. So technically 1.5. So you discard a card targeting your Soul Resonators, sending your Crimson, and then you want to decrease the level by 1, so it become level 6, and then you go into your Synchro, which is Red Rising Dragon. you activate your Red Rising Dragon, you target your Crimson Resonator, special summon it. Since it meet the requirement, you want to activate your Crimson Resonator, you want to special summon 2 level Duel Resonator from your deck. You can either summon level 2, 1 or 3 and 1, depends on your combo that you want to go further. For this play, I want to go into my Scar Red Dragon Archfiend by using my Vision Resonators and also Red Rising Dragon. It doesn't really matter which tuner that you use, depending on the matchup. Usually if you want to chain block, you can use Vision Resonators later. You can use your Crimson. Now I search for my continuous spell and I straight up go into my Hot Red Dragon Archfiend using my Synchro Resonators and also Red Dragon Archfiend. Then it will trigger 2 chain, which is my Red Dragon Archfiend, chaining 1 to special summon Red Dragon Archfiend, and chaining 2 my Synchro Resonator to target my Vision Resonators. Vision Resonators has a second effect, which it allow if you have a level 5 high monster on the field, you can special summon it. So that's why we want to add it to the hand for more extension. Then we're gonna synchro into our Dissipator. So as you can see, after we summoning the Dissipator, we actually can extend much more further. But first we're gonna activate our Crimson Gaia, then we get on to add our Red Zone, because Red Zone is actually important to reborn and also to interrupt our opponent. So since in this case we already have 2 monsters on the field, then we can extend using our Vision Resonators to go into our another packages, which is our Centurion Auxilia. Then we're gonna go into our Centurion Auxilia. Then we're going to activate our Centurion Auxilia. So we want to search for our field spell, and then we want to activate our field spell. So as you can see, this combo need us to require more card in our hand. So if you don't have any card in your hand, you can just stop by using Dissipator. But if you want to extend much more further, you can go for display. And then activate Trudea special summon, and then we activate our Trudea to place it back, and then we want to place our Centurion Primera from our deck, and then we want to activate our Centurion Primera, special summon it, and then we can activate our Primera to search for our another interruption, which is our Phalanx in this case. And then simply, as you can see, most of our extra deck are locked us, so we cannot go much further. So we can just set our trap here or any of our card, and then we can pass to our opponent. And then during our opponent turns, so since Centurion Trudea require us to go during main phase only, so if our opponent activate anything, we want to chain our Trudea. So we want to special summon our Trudea. So after we summon our Trudea, we want to change it to level 8. Then it will trigger our field spell, Wake Up Centurion. And then we will synchro into our Crimson Dragon. So by doing this way, you can interrupt our opponent much more better, since even though we are locked during our turn, but by using Centurion Engine, we can interrupt our opponent. So this is depend on your setup. If you want to, you can go into Red Supernova, or you can go into Cosmic Blazers, depends on it. So as you can see, this is the combo. So we have a lot of destruction during this turn. So we're gonna jump into the next gameplay. So for the second combo, you need 2 cards, which is your Bone Archfiend or any of way for you to search for your Crimson Resonators. So we're gonna discard our prisoners to search for our Crimson Resonators. So first thing first, we're gonna activate our Crimson Resonator to special summon itself from the hand. And then we want to normal summon our Bone Archfiend. And then you want to synchro into your Red Rising Dragon. So Red Rising Dragon, activate. You want to special summon back your Crimson Resonators. So the differences is by this way, we are gonna summon 2 Resonators from deck, which is level 3, which is our Soul Resonators, and also we want to special summon our Vision Resonators. Then we're gonna trigger our Soul Resonators to search for our Synchron Resonators. Then you want to synchro into your Red Dragon Hot Red by using 2 of your Red Rising Dragon and also your Soul Resonators to go into your Hot Red, and then you want to special summon your Synchron Resonators from your hand, since if you control a synchro, you can free special summon it from your hand. And then you just straight up go into Dissipator. I will tell you later why we can do this way. And then you can special summon your Dissipator in your extra monster zone, and then you will trigger your Synchron Resonators to add back your Soul Resonators to your hand. So by using this way, you can activate your Bone Archfiend in your hand to discard any card in your hand. Since, for example, if I have Wallace, I should discard Wallace, but in this case, for 2 card combo, we're just gonna discard our Soul Resonators. Then you want to activate your Bone Archfiend, targeting our Crimson Resonators, and then we will sending our Obsessive Overloop. And we always want to decrease the level, and then we can activate our Obsessive Overloop by banishing a synchro from our graveyard, which is in this case Hot Red, and then we will add itself to the hand. Then we can activate our Dissipator to special summon back our Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Then you can synchro summon into your Jet Rising Dragon by using our Bone Archfiend and also our Tuner. Then you can activate your Vision Resonators, Red Rising Chainlink, Vision Resonators Chainlink 1, and then Chainlink 2, we can activate our Red Rising Dragon. So Red Rising Dragon, we need to target the level 1 specifically because we want to go into our boss monster, our huge boss monster. And then we're gonna search out for our Crimson. If you have it already in your hand, you can straight up search for the trap. So we're gonna activate our Obsessive Overloop, banishing us our second copy of Red Rising Dragon, and then we can special summon it to the field. And then we can straight up go into 6 plus 4 plus 1 plus another 1. We can straight up go into level 12. So by using this way, we can trigger again our Synchron Resonator because it is not once per turn. To recycle, we can add back our Vision Resonators from our graveyard to the hand, or we can add our Soul Resonators for follow-up, depends on you. In this case, I'm gonna add our Vision Resonators, and then you can activate your Crimson Gaia. You're gonna add our Red Zone. So as you can see this way, we have a lot of interruption. We have double banish by using the Red Zone. We have our Dissipator. We also have our Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. But as you can see right now, our Bestial Dissipator does not really have any interruption. I mean, it does have interruption by returning our banish synchro monster, but we can extend much more further. Since we have our Vision Resonator, we can go into our Centurion package. As you can see, we can go into our Vision Resonators and our Dissipator to go into straight up our Centurion Auxiliary. But as I stated before, this combo require more card to discard, so you need to be wise, or you need to be considered a little bit on what card you need to discard. Like for example, in my case, I want to discard my Dead Malchammy for Wallace, and then I'm gonna activate my Centurion Trudea, and then we can, as you can see, we can activate our Trudea. Then even though we cannot synchro again during our turn, we can set up for our next turn by using Trudea effect. We will set it to the back row and then place our Primera, and then we can activate our Primera activate its effect, and then we can search for our Phalanx as another interruption. Then we can set our Phalanx, and then during our opponent's turn, we can use all of this. We can synchro during our opponent's turn, which is extremely strong, by using 2 card only. Technically 2 card and a discard. So this is a lot. So you can see during our opponent turn, we can trigger our Centurion Trudea to special summon back to the field. and then we're gonna change it to level 8, and then you will trigger your stand-up Centurion and you will synchro into your Crimson Dragon. You're gonna sync from your Crimson Dragon, and then you can trigger your Crimson Dragon targeting any of your level 12, and then you can special summon your Omni Negate, which is Cosmic Blazer Dragon. So as you can see, this is a lot of interruption for one card, so for 2 card and plus as this card. Alright, next, this is another 1 card combo by using our Soul Resonators. You want to normal summon your Soul Resonators as the same as before, search for your Bone Archfiend, and then you want to activate your Bone Archfiend, discard any card from your hand. So in this case, discard the Obsessive Overlook, and then you want to activate your Bone Archfiend, targeting your Soul Resonators, sending your Crimson Resonators to the graveyard. And then you want to synchro into your Crimson Red Rising Dragon, and then you want to activate your Red Rising Dragon to special summon your Crimson from the graveyard. And then in this case, this is a very simple one. You can special summon 2 level 2, or you can summon 3 and 1. So depends on your need. So in this case, I'm gonna summon only 2 and 2 to make our boss monster just straight up 12, because in certain matchups, sometimes you don't want to go extend too much, you just want a big boss monster on the field. So in this case, I'm just gonna go for our boss monster, which is our red Supernova Dragon, and then we will trigger our Vision Resonator to search for our Crimson Gaia. And then you can activate your Crimson Gaia as previous before. Then you can search for your red zone. So by using this way, red zone enable your boss monster to banish twice, so you have double white on the field, which is pretty damn good. So as you can see, that the Resonators in deck is not technically focused on like one archetype. They really need another type of archetype, which is like Centurion archetype, to support their gameplay, to support their combo. Because if they do not have like stand-up Centurion or the Centurion package overall, they kind of stuck there, unable to do anything. So that's why you need a Centurion package. Not only that, you can also use your Beastial to extend your play and also to interrupt your opponent. That's why you run triple Beastial Lubelin to help you extend further and also to bait some hand trap from your opponent. Sometimes it's not necessarily Beastial starting combo is very good, because simply because Beastial is level 8 and level 6 in this case, so it does not really combo well with your Crimson Resonators, because Crimson Resonator require a Dark Dragon Synchro, which usually gonna be your Red Rising, and Red Rising is level 6, so it does not really like match kinda together if you notice. So that's why sometimes if you have Beastial in the hand, it's a bit awkward. But overall, that's all I can say for this deck. We're gonna jump straight up into gameplay and hope you enjoy it. And if you have any question, feel free to comment down below. Enjoy.